Hey class, going to quickly go over a demonstration for 2-point perspective. You're going to want pencil with an eraser and fresh sheet of paper as well as a ruler. I'm using a very large one for the large paper, but regular size ruler is fine. If you don't have a ruler, you can use the side of a book or something along those lines. It doesn't have to be a ruler with markings on it. Any straight edge will do. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is to make a horizon line, horizontal across your page, somewhere right across the middle. When you're holding your ruler, it's best to give it a lot of pressure on the hand that's holding the ruler and almost no pressure on the hand that doesn't have a ruler in it. You want to make light marks because some of them are going to get erased. So I hold my pencil near the back so that I don't press hard. So all the way across the page like so. I'll go back over it in ink in just a second here. I'm going to go over that again so you can see it a little better. It's best not to draw dark though because you might want to erase some of these lines. So from there you're going to make some vertical lines also. We're going to make a box down here at the bottom. We're going to start with the corner of the box that's going to be closest to the viewer. Somewhere near the middle of the page. Make sure that you're vertical. And you want to be below the horizon line. Okay, something along those lines. On your horizon line, you need to make 2 dots. Those are going to be your 2 vanishing points. There's one over near this edge somewhere, one near this edge somewhere. Now with 2-point perspective, as your lines go back into space, they're either going to go towards the dot on this side or the dot on that side. All lines on this drawing will either be vertical or pointing towards one of these dots. So now I'm going to make a couple more lines to finish off the side of my box. And I'm actually going to go ahead and do this in ink, even though I can't erase it. You should do it in pencil, but it'll show up better for you if I do it in ink. Okay. So I've got my vertical line. Now I've got a horizontal edge on my box, but it's going back into space. And since it's going back into space in this direction, then it's got to go towards that dot. Now, I'm going to only make my box that big. I'm going to stop. But even if I didn't stop, there'd be this imaginary line that goes all the way back to that dot. In fact, I'll do that in pencil so it's there lightly. So that represents, if that top edge of that box kept going, it would reach this space. And the bottom edge of the box is also going to go towards this dot because it's moving in this direction backwards into space. I'm going to overshoot it just a little bit. Okay. The back edge of that box is also going to be going up and down, right? So if a vertical line is vertical, then we're going to draw it just totally straight up and down vertical, and we stop where it intersects with the line that was going backwards. I'm going to go over that. I penciled it first. I'm going to ink it so that you can see. This represents that surface on the box. Now we're going to do the opposite surface on the box, going this way. And it's the same idea. From my corner to the dot. Okay. And I'm going to do the bottom part in pencil actually. From the bottom corner to the dot. I'm going to overshoot it a little bit. And then, of course, vertical for the edges that go up and down. And where those two lines intersect, right there, that's that back corner. I'm going to go back over it in ink real quick. Oops, my ruler moved because I wasn't holding it tight enough. Should always hold that ruler really tight, but not your drawing hand. Okay, like so. Now, I'm going to go on pencil again for this part. So now I'm going to do the top surface of my box. And for the top surface of my box, I'm going to follow this corner, and that edge on the box is going to go that direction, which means it's going towards that dot. I don't know exactly where it's going to stop. I'm just going to guess right there. I could continue that line all the way if I was in pencil. I just am kind of shortcutting it because I know I'm going to do the opposite thing the other way. So I'm going to go from that corner towards that dot. That was pretty close. Where those two lines intersect, that represents the back corner of the box. Maybe you can kind of see it now. This surface is kind of like this. This surface is actually like this. And this is like this. Okay. Now, what's kind of strange is that this line and this line represent lines that would be totally parallel with the ground in real life. They're totally horizontal. But because they're going back into space in our perspective drawing, things that are further away appear to be closer together. They converge at the vanishing points on the horizon, and so they appear to get smaller as they go back into space, which is why these lines aren't actually parallel on the page. So from here we can do all sorts of things. I made a box, but I can also make negative boxes, empty boxes, and I can stack these things high, I can stack them low. As long as I'm going either vertical or towards one of these two dots, then it'll make sense in the perspective. So I'm going to do a couple more things here. I'm going to make a window pane on this half of my box here. If I wanted to be really accurate with how I'm doing my window pane, I'm going to find the exact middle of that space by making an X. I'm going to make another X. I'm just going corner to corner to make this X. Okay, right there. That would be the middle, even though it's actually not quite halfway because it's in perspective. It would represent the middle of the box there. I can do all sorts of things then. I can decide by doing a vertical line where the middle of the box would be that way and the other way also. But I'm going to make a window that is this far away from the edge of the box. And if I start from right that dot right there, and I use a ruler, everything's in perspective still. So if I want to be consistent, I'll just follow that till I get to the X again. I'm going to stop. And then from there, it would be a vertical line, and all my vertical lines just stay straight up and down. So I'll do that until I hit my X. Same thing on the front. And if I was careful, I can double check my work. If I line up the dot in the background, then the bottom parts of that X should also line up with my window, like this. So now I have a window on the side of my box right here. However, I'm going to actually make a window pane in there so it looks like it's actually going inside my box, like it's a windowsill. So I'm going to start at a corner. I can actually only see one corner. This corner would be hidden by the wall. This corner would be hidden by the wall. This corner would be hidden by the wall going in. I'm going to go ahead and erase out my X mark there so I don't get too many lines confusing me. That's why you should do it in pencil first. Okay. All right, from there, I'm going to make an inverted box, an empty space box. So a box that goes into the side of my building here. And to do that, I could do the same thing as before and just trace it back to this dot. The problem is that it would be covered by the wall from that corner and that corner and that corner. The only part of this that's going to show is going to be from this corner. I'm going to make mine just that thick there. So I'm going to say my windowsill is that thick. Windowsill going in. It reaches at the corner where the windowsill goes up. I'm going to stop as soon as it runs into the wall there because I can't see through that wall. And then vice versa, from this dot, the inside of that corner is going to come forward until it would end up somewhere over here, but I can't see that because it's behind the wall. See how it's going into the building there? Kind of a cool thing now is using the same logic, I can actually extend out a block sideways from this box as if I was pulling it out of where the window is going to go. And I'm going to use basically the same lines that I already had there before. I'm going to use a dotted line to kind of show where my lines would be going. I'm going to follow this same one, it's going back to that line. I'm going to do a dotted line here. But I'm also going to do it from the other corners as well. And bottom corner. Okay. So I'm going to use kind of the same logic as we did before here. But now I know where this corner would be out in space out here if we pulled this thing out. So I'm going to make a line that represents a vertical line from the windowsill. I know it goes from this edge. I got to keep track of it. I'm going to go vertical. I'm going to stop because I know that's where this other corner would be. Okay. I'm actually just going to estimate on the thickness of this window pane here a little bit. There are ways to do it more accurately, but I think estimating will be okay for the time being. Okay. And I'm just going over where that dotted line was before. I overshot that a little bit. should match up to that dot right there for the back corner. All right. So you can see that it's like pulled out of the side here. And it's all either vertical lines or going towards one of these two dots. Now this box looks slightly bigger than that hole, and it's because from perspective, if we were pulling it out this way, it would actually be getting closer to the viewer, so it's going to look a little bit larger. But with this construct, you can follow the same philosophy and keep exploding the box. I can pull boxes out vertically, I can pull them out this way. So I'm going to do a vertical one real quick. I'm actually going to pull a box out of my box. And I'm going to do this fairly rapidly. I'm going to make an X so I can find the middle of my box. From there, I'm going to decide what my box is this big. Check. If I pull a box out of that one, it would have been a vertical line from that back corner. How convenient, those lined up. All right, I'm going to pull a box straight up out of that. If I did, those lines could all just be vertical. I'm going to do it in pencil first. I'm going to estimate the height of it. Okay. I got that height based off of where the back corner was. Anyways, let's go over that in pen. So again, all lines are either vertical or going towards that dot or that dot. I don't actually quite know where that back corner goes. I'm going to do it lined up to that one. Okay. That's a pretty good introduction. Notice that now that it's above the horizon line, this box, I can actually see the underside of this box. The perspective shifts from being able to see the top of the box here to being totally parallel with the eye to being the underside of the box based off of this horizon line here. I can continue to explode boxes though. I could pull this box and pull it this way, make an X on this box and pull it up, and it just goes on and on. As long as you're going vertical or towards one of those two horizon lines, then your picture will be accurate in terms of perspective. that's your introduction.